Hi Scorpio, welcome to your December 2018 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic Oral spread in front of us as always, and you guys got a couple extra cards in a position of the environment's influence on a situation. Then we have an Oracle card that we'll read at the end that will tie everything together. And before I forget, let me say thanks to you guys again because your November reading had the most views, likes, and new subscribers again. So I'll do another bonus video for you guys for December. Since I just did a love one for November, I'm not sure if I'll do another love one. Maybe I'll switch it up to something else. I'll figure that out soon. But yeah, let's go through this reading though. Going one by one, starting with the main situation. And in the main situation position, we have the Three of Cups. So this is actually a card of Cancer to me. It represents the middle 10 degrees of Cancer. So for some of you, if you have a key placement there, like let's say you're Scorpio Sun but Cancer Moon or Cancer Rising, and you have a placement in one of those 10 degrees, this might resonate with you more. For others of you though, on a more simple basis, this could just be saying that you're celebrating something, maybe just getting out and partying on a more casual level with friends. When I look at the Three of Cups though, I usually think of these are long-standing friendships. So maybe you're going back home for the holidays and you're reconnecting with friends from that area. Maybe just in general you're reconnecting with friends. Could go either way. But that's usually how I see this, that these aren't brand new friendships. Usually these are usually friendships that you've had for a long time. Could even be family connections. But either way, definitely a good card to see because it shows a celebratory vibe. And like I said, a lot of people get into that mood during the holidays anyway. But it looks like there's some supporting cards around to say that it's more than just that for you guys. But we'll see. In the challenge or obstacle position, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is usually my court card for Taurus. If you look at the symbolism there, you could definitely see the Taurus bull symbols on the throne all over the place. So some of you could be dealing with a Taurus, and maybe they're the challenge there. Taurus is also your seventh house, so this could just be saying that maybe the challenge has been, you've been in a relationship that kind of took you away from your friends, right? Maybe you've been devoting too much energy to the relationship and hadn't really seen your friends for a while, and now this month you're reconnecting with them for whatever reason. For others of you, this could just be saying that maybe this is the energy you've been in lately. Like maybe you've been so focused on finances that, again, same thing, because you were so focused on something else, you lost touch with some of your friends, and maybe this month you're finally getting around to reconnecting with them. That could really play out either way. So you guys will probably figure out how that resonates for you. Like I said, whether it's that you guys have been so focused on finances and lost touch with friends, or if this is the sign of a relationship you're in, or it could just actually physically really be a Taurus or any earth sign. That's, for some way, shape, in some way, shape, or form, wherever they've been preventing you from getting out and celebrating. In the foundation position, we have the Sun card. So this is another positive card. This to me just shows that you feel revitalized. And, I'm actually recording this while the Sun is still in Scorpio. But I mean, the Sun was in Scorpio for, the end of October through most of November. So if you guys are watching this in December, technically the Sun isn't there anymore. But maybe just with that energy, you've been feeling re-energized. This could just be saying that you're in a playful mood now. Maybe you've had some stressful times in the past and you're finally getting over those for whatever reason. Maybe with reconnecting with friends, you feel like back to yourself in a more playful way. This could just be receiving recognition as well. Just getting good news. Definitely a good card to have, though, in the foundation position because it helps color the rest of the reading. So definitely something good to have there. And for some of you, this could represent a Leo, but I'm not getting that vibe as much. Usually more the strength card would be more the card that would say you're dealing with a Leo. To me, this just shows your energy. And if you've been focusing on finances now with Jupiter moving to your second house, that should help with finances as well. So maybe that could be part of it. You're starting to feel a little bit more relief when it comes to finances. And Venus was retrograde in your sign for a while. It's actually going to be moving back into your sign in December, but it'll be moving forward. So that's another thing that could help you feel a lot more uplifted than you might have felt recently. All right, in the past position, we have the World card. So this card to me represents completion of some kind. I usually refer to it personally as my North Node card, and the North Node actually just moved into Cancer, so that's actually a fellow water sign for you, so maybe that's going to be helpful. As you guys know, you had eclipses going on in Leo and Aquarius for a while, and that's your 10th house and 4th house, so you could have felt challenged in your home life and also in your career social status. You know, there could have been some volatile energies there for the past year and a half or so. So maybe this is what it's saying. You know, you've completed that cycle now, which I'm sure you guys are definitely happy about. And now, like I said, with it moving into your 9th house, that's a more supportive energy for you guys as water signs to have the North Node in a fellow water sign, and it's not squaring you guys or anything. So, it should definitely be a more supportive energy as a whole. And for some of you, if the work that you've been putting in was in school or of some kind as well, this could just be saying that you recently graduated or will graduate very soon. That's another possibility. In the present situation, we have the Nine of Wands. And I think you guys had this in, might have been in the main situation position last month. So could just, again, feel like you're taking on a lot still. Um, you know, could be related to work, could be any area of life where you just feel like you've been taking on quite a bit. And like I said, if you look at this person, they don't look like they're overly comfortable, right? If we look at their facial expression, they don't look very trusting. It looks like they have a bandage on their head and they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. When I look at that card, I usually think about the fact that, let's say that this person was under attack, right? Because the card right before it is the Eight of Wands, and normally the Eight of Wands isn't an aggressive card in a bad way. But let's say that that's how they're feeling, you know. Let's say those Eight Wands were requests from people, right? Oh, could you help me with this? Could you do that? You know, just constant messages that have you feeling overwhelmed. To me, when I think of that, I'm saying, well, you could be more resourceful, right? If that's what's happening, you keep getting hit, you have Eight standing behind you, why don't you get behind them, right? And then you have that protection at least if there are more coming your way. So to me, this could say if you're feeling stuck, you know, feel like you need more of something, try to be a bit more resourceful. You know, look at what's around you and see how you could maximize the opportunities with that. That's a message that came to me recently. So hopefully that resonates with you guys. I don't remember if I said that to you guys last month or not, but it's definitely something I'm feeling now. And also another way that I say this would play out too is it to me because Aries got this card as well, and this was where I was telling Aries this message, which was that another way this plays out is you might feel like that's all you have to stand on, right? You might feel in your mind all you think is you have that one wand. So if you feel you need help, right, you might feel like you might not have the clout to ask for it. So say you're brand new at a job, right? Since we were talking about finances, and you want to ask them, hey, could you guys help me, right? But you might feel like, oh, well, you know, I'm so new. If they ask me for help, they might think I don't know what I'm doing or something like that. Or in some way, shape, or form, you might feel a little reluctant to ask for help. But if that's the case, then you got to keep in mind that, yeah, you might think to yourself, all you have is that one wand, but others, when they're looking in your direction, they see the Eight behind you too. So you have more going for you than you think you do. So, you know, if that's a concern you have that, you know, you want to ask for help, um, you know, you might feel like they just think, oh, you're brand new, you haven't done anything yet. If you've been putting in the work, they'll actually, you know, they've noticed it, whether they've outwardly said it or not. And if you need that help, then feel free to ask for it. All right. In the near future position, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this could be just juggling two options. It could be relationships, it could be two jobs, it could be trying to balance your work and home life, right? Like we were saying here, maybe that was Since this is still in the challenge, you're trying to balance getting out and reconnecting with friends and still staying on top of your finances, right? That could be what's at play there. So if that's the case, you could just be feeling that energy still in the month of December. But this could also point to the timeline too, because the sun goes into Capricorn towards the end of December, and this actually represents the first 10 degrees of Capricorn for me. And this is right around the time when Christmas comes around, New Year's. So pretty much everyone feels this energy in some way, shape, or form, right? There's just so much going on. You feel like you have to get a lot done. That could just be saying what you feel like you're dealing with when you get to that point in the year. And what I always say when I see this card too is don't be afraid to drop those pentacles if you feel like you're stuck like that, right? Like you can't move. It's like they're pentacles, they're not eggs. If you put them down, they're not going to break. They're still going to be there. They're still going to have their value. If you need to let them, set them down and figure out how you want to go about a better way to manage that, then, try to take a breather if you can. All right. Now, in your influence on the situation, we have the Nine of Cups. So this is sometimes referred to as the wish card on a more generic level. But to me, usually the way I see this, well, I see it a couple different ways. The first way I'll say is I see it as being in a mode of receptivity. If you look at this person, they look very content, right? And they're like, okay, well, I know what I bring to the table. I know what I have to offer, right? Those 9 cups behind them. So, they're valuing themselves in that regard and saying, I'm going to let anything come to me rather than me going out and chase after something. So that could be the energy you're in now. Maybe you're feeling more confident in yourself in that regard. Um, but then the only downside to that is the same thing, which is to say, if you look at their facial expression as well, it could also be taken as a bit of a smug type demeanor. So that could be the way you're coming across as well, even if you don't necessarily mean to. And then with the arms crossed too, you might be perceiving yourself as, well, I know what I have to offer, I know what I bring to the table, and you have it out on display, right? But other people might be seeing you as a bit closed off, like, they don't have anything to offer you. That's another way that could play out, which is to say, they might look at you and say, oh, well, this person looks like they're content and they have everything, so what can I give to them, right? So just be careful. You guys will know how that resonates for you, if which side of the fence you're on there. But yeah, I mean, the receptive energy is not really a bad thing to be in, especially when Venus comes back into your sign very early in December and it'll be moving forward. Being in that receptive state should help for the most part. But like I said, just make sure you don't come across the wrong way with that. All right. And the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Chariot, Page of Pentacles, and 8 of Pentacles. So looking at these 3 cards together, this could just be saying that, to me, the Chariot represents forward movement for starters. So that could play out a few different ways. That could mean traveling, right? Usually, if this is traveling, it's not just a typical short road trip to me. Usually, it's overseas travel, or maybe if you have family that lives across the country, so you're going to fly out to see them. That could be what's going on with that as well. On a more mundane level, it could also mean a vehicle. With it in the upright, that could be saying that somebody might be looking at getting a new vehicle. If that's the case, try to wait until the very end of December if you can, or even into early January, just because Venus will be out of retrograde in December, but it's still going to be in shadow for a bit of the month, so that's not the best time there for that. And then Mercury will also be retrograde for part of December, and that won't really be out of shadow until towards the end of the month. So those 2 energies combined means you might see something as, a little bit nicer than it really ends up being, and or you might end up overspending on something. So if that's what you're looking at, try to hold off on that. Same for travel too. If you could wait a few weeks to book the trip, try to wait a few weeks, and that should help you avoid overspending. The Page of Pentacles, now this could mean that someone's offering something to you. So let's say, could be a new job offer, for example, but With this, it doesn't, the way I always describe the pages, it looks like they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out if you look at their stance. And then if you look at the pentacle, it's not really fully in the person's grasp, right? We see it's like kind of in their hands, but not really. Whereas, let's say, looking at the king energy, I mean, you can see they have a pretty firm grasp of the pentacle there if you wanted to add those two for contrast. So this could be an offer, but maybe not, a fully complete offer. It might come off as a little bit sloppy. And this could be anything. It could obviously be a financial offer, but it could also be a relationship offer for stability, so on and so forth. It could be almost anything. But if that's how the offer comes across, it looks like the person at least or the organization, whatever, will be willing to put in the work. But this could also be saying a brand new offer for work. And it just might be that, the offer isn't fully clear to you. So if that's the case, feel free to ask them for clarity if you're not fully sure what the expectations are of the job, right? They might tell you some of what you need to do, but not everything, or the way they communicate it to you might not be too clear, so you might have to ask them. And again, with the retrograde energy at play, that would totally make sense. So you might just have to ask them again, hey, well, what did you say the job requirements were? Or what are the hours I need to work? Just get whatever clarification you need in that regard. But with the chariot here, whatever that offer is, it looks like it's overall a positive offer and will help you move forward in some way, shape, or form. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Knight of Wands. So, with this in the hopes or fears position, I'm going to guess for most of you it's probably a hope, and you're probably hoping to travel again, because just because we see the chariot there, maybe you're just hoping to get a vacation, especially if you've been working for so long, right? Working hard. You might just want that vacation time. For some of you, for fear, maybe this would usually be more of a relationship dynamic, because you might fear that someone's, coming in. Usually this energy is seen, this is a court card for Sagittarius. And not at all to say Sagittarius people are this way, but sometimes they're perceived as here one day, gone the next, right? So you might be fearing that anyone coming in right now, you might fear that there's not going to be any stability with that connection. But keep in mind, whether you see this playing out in a good or a bad way, it's just in the hopes or fears, so it won't necessarily play out. It's more just something that's on your mind. And, it looks like the energies are pretty supportive here, so if you're thinking of more the negative side of that, it doesn't really look like there's much support for that to be the case, so you could probably trust that a bit more than you might think. And in the outcome position, we have the Nine of Swords. So, speaking of things being in the mind, this is another one of those cards. It's definitely a card about anxiety, losing sleep at night, maybe having nightmares. But the main thing is, this is definitely in their mind. Like if we were to think to them, maybe this person's thinking that those swords are in their back, like with the Ten of Swords, for example. But we could clearly see that none of the swords are actually in their back at all. It's just something that's on their mind. So keep that in mind. Try to keep the negative thoughts away if possible. This could just be one of those things where things start going real well for you, and then you might start to feel like, oh, well, is this too good to be true? So try to avoid those negative thoughts if you can, because to me, everything here looks pretty positive. So if that's how things are going in your life, try to keep that momentum going and try not to focus on, oh, well, what's going to happen next, as far as, like we said, that Nine of Wands energy there, expecting something bad to happen. Maybe it's just your time, So, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords. So that's normally my court card for Aquarius, but it could be any air sign, and then it could also just be pointing to Aquarius as your fourth house, and now you're going to have Mars moving out of that sign, so could just be saying that things improve with your family, because like we said there with the Three of Cups, or maybe just improving your home environment in general too. With this being the major arcana card of Cancer as well, that is the natural ruler of the fourth house, so that could be pointing to things as well, just improvement around the family and the home in general. So definitely a good thing there. All right, now let's read the oracle card to help tie everything together. You got a leg up. There's the artwork for it, and it's number 34. You guys got this one in the past too. I don't think it was last month's reading, but it might have been possibly October or maybe September. So if you guys didn't check that video, you might want to go back and check that one and see if maybe there's some themes from that time replaying themselves. Especially if it was like September, October, especially October, this could just be saying that maybe something that initially was going to get off the ground during that time, maybe the Venus retrograde in your sign threw everything off, and maybe it got delayed for a bit, so maybe that's coming back around. That's certainly a possibility. Because, yeah, that just sticks out to me that you guys did get that not too long ago. But we'll read the messages and see what it says. Okay. It says essential meanings: receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The Oracle's message: you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So with that Three of Cups in the main position, like I said, normally to me that's connecting with people you've known for a long time, but it could also be playing out that way. That maybe you're meeting new people now, and it feels like you've known them for a long time, but they really are, new in your life. It just feels like you guys just have that instant bond, and maybe they're going to be helpful in your life in that regard. The relationship message says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust. You will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask, and it is given. So that could be actually a combination of what I was saying with the Nine of Cups, saying that in the positive, it's being in that receptive energy, knowing what you bring to the table, and saying, all right, well, I know what I have to offer, so, what do you have to offer, right? What does someone have to add to that? So that could be saying the good side of that is true, right? That you do have a lot to offer, but on the bad side of it, which is to say, it says this is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs. Remember, I was saying that for some of you, that could be how you come across to other people with your arms crossed and like the smug look, right? Like, oh, well, what do I possibly have to offer them? It seems like they have everything they want, right? So if that's the case, if you're more in that Nine of Wands energy, that could just be saying, okay, well, if you need help, right? The Two of Pentacles energy too. If you need something from your partner or someone that you're, even if you're not connected with them yet, maybe you need to be honest about what you're looking for, right? And then maybe they will meet you halfway. Maybe you don't feel they will, right? But maybe once you speak that to them, they make the move forward, right? And maybe initially it might be a little bit sloppy because they weren't expecting, oh, okay, I didn't know that Scorpio needed this, right? Or this is what they wanted, right? So initially it might be a bit bumpy, but with the Eight of Pentacles there, it looks like they will put in the work to meet you halfway in that regard. And I definitely feel like that could be what this message is talking about because we have, like we said, the Nine of Swords there too. So be careful about that. If there is something that you need from someone, like it says there, time to be vulnerable, speak up about your needs, and ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust you will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. Because to me, this is about someone not communicating as well. So, again, going back to don't expect someone to read your mind, right? That could be the energies that's referring to there. All right, and then lastly, we have the prosperity message. It says, now is the perfect time to seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go to help you get there too. If you do, you will receive very good counsel that will aid in your prosperity. It may also be the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you just can't do it all by yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. Trust that help is available and it will indeed appear. Delegate authority to others so you can take steps towards your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time so long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. So, as I was reading that, another thing that came to my mind too is if this is energy that you're embodying, sometimes one of the famous negative traits that people think of with Taurus is that they're stubborn. So maybe that's saying that your own stubbornness has prevented these people that would come in to totally support you and have the same vision you do from coming into your life. Again, with that, you know, maybe you're not meaning to, and maybe you're fully 100% right that you have a lot to offer, right? And you know what you bring to the table. But the other side of that is people might feel like, oh, well, this person has everything they need. What can I offer to them? So just be careful of that cautionary message there. And again, like I said, even with that, that's like the quote unquote worst energy possible as far as in this spread goes, which is just saying that it could just be a matter of perception, meaning that, you might be fully right that you do have a lot to offer, you bring a lot to the table, and you deserve to be treated as such, but you just might not be coming across like you need the help. You might not feel like, might not feel comfortable speaking up for that help. So something to keep in mind there. We'll wrap up there, guys. Thanks again for, like I said, for the likes, views, new subscribers. If you guys want a personal reading, you could check out the About section of my channel for more info on that. And you could check out my Instagram page too. We have a little bit more fun with tarot and astrology there. But if not, keep an eye out for that bonus video, like I said, and I'll talk to you guys next month. All right? Happy holidays. Bye.